dying is not the end of anything. Dying is the end of only this body. And there was someone in the operation table, some professionals working on the head, some doctors and nurse professional. I think it was three or four. It took a time for me to understand and recognize that that person in that table was me. And there was a big, big, beautiful light in that place. I felt something very special coming. He was so, so, so beautiful. I was afraid about the reactions of people. Oh, they will say that I'm crazy. Nobody can take this from me because I live it. It was it was real for me. I know.
The A.J. Parr Spiritual Journalist Podcast.
I am here with Vania Valtriani. She is a Brazilian woman. She had a near-death experience 10 years ago when she suffered a stroke after surgery. So, hello, Vania. How are you?
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Now, your doctor told your husband that you would die that same night, and you stayed in coma for 3 days. Can you tell us about that story, please?
This is my mission now. I have to tell to people what happened with me and that life is much more than only this that we can see. Well, 10 years ago, I was in a party dancing with my husband when I felt a very bad pain in my head. It was horrible. Like if someone was putting a knife, a hot knife in my brain, and I vomit because of the pain and I fell down. And then I was taken to the hospital and they detected a stroke, hemorrhagic stroke. And then I was taken to the surgery. And after the surgery, the doctor come back to my husband and told him, well, two veins blast in her brain and there's a lot of blood there, like if she was falling down from the third floor. There's nothing we can do. She is dying in a few hours. I'll put her here in the machines, bring the kids, bring the family and friends to say goodbye to her. And I was 45 years old. And I stayed in coma for 3 days. Why was in coma? I had some very spiritual experience that I remember when I wake up in the 40th day. Well, in the 40th day when I wake up, the first person that I saw was my husband. He was with a nurse and my best friend and my youngest daughter. And I started speaking with them. It was very difficult for me to speak. It was very hard. But the first thing that I started telling them was I was with my dad. I saw Jesus, and they probably thought that I was telling something that I was in not my normal brain or situation. I don't know how say this. Sorry, guys, I'm not so good in English, but I'm trying my best here. And the first thing that I remember when I wake up from the stroke that I was with my dad, and he already died 6 years ago from cancer. He had a cancer. And the second memory that wake up with me was that I was with Jesus. Those big memories was with me when I wake up and open my eyes. The first memory that wake up with me when I wake up of the stroke that I was in a hospital, in a surgery room, and I was looking to something happen, but it was very difficult for me to explain. Well, let me see if I can explain to you. When you are looking for something in your body, okay, I'm looking to you straight to here, but for me in that moment, looks like I was looking to the whole place, not in front of you, in front of me, in back, in sides, and all the room was with me. It's difficult to explain. And there was someone in the operation table, some professionals working on the head, some doctors and nurse professional. I think it was three or four. And then it took a time for me to understand and recognize that that person in that table was me. It was very difficult for me to recognize it because I was looking for me in a very different way. Well, I always look to me in the mirror, and that Vanya looks like in 3D for me. I don't know how to explain this. So I took a time to recognize that that was me. But I think that's the most important thing from this memory is that when I recognize that was me, I didn't feel nothing bad. I wasn't afraid. I was in doubt. I wasn't like we see in the movies. Oh my God, what's going on? I'm dying. That one is me. What's going on? So it was totally different. I was feeling very calm, very in peace. And the most interesting thing that I remember from this moment is that I was in a condition that wasn't new for me. It looks like that I felt that before. I knew that I was in a situation that I knew. I don't know how to explain this in a different way, sorry. And then when I was in this way, I looked to the feet of my body in the table, and there was a big, big, beautiful light in that place. And then I saw my dad, but he wasn't totally different that I remember when he died. He was 76 years old. He was very sick for cancer. And he looks like I remember when I was a girl. He was so, so, so beautiful. Well, he was in a way totally different. I remember that he was happy in peace, but there was something in his face that I never saw in this earth. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. But he connected with me with something coming from him to me. And I felt something very good. I don't know. It was something, a connection. And he spoke with me, but he never used his mouth. He spoke in my mind. And I was looking to him. And he never used his mouth. He only said, my daughter. And he opened his arm. And I felt, sorry, I felt something very special coming from him to me. But I don't know why. I just say to him in my mind, because probably, I don't know, and the spirit doesn't have a mouth. Huh? I think I answer him in the same way. And I say to him, Dad, I cannot go with you. I have to stay with her. And I was referring me like her. I don't know why. It's difficult to explain this because when I look to that woman in that table and the doctors in her head, I was feeling like that was not me. I don't know how I explain this. Sorry. Well, that is my memory with my dad. And if there's something else, I can't remember. But the other memory that wake up with me was totally different. And when I wake up of the stroke, I remember these two memory very strong, very strong. The second memory was very bad, very sick, very well. I remember that I was back in my body. And I don't know how I felt that I was alone in a hospital room. And I don't know how I knew that I was in the hospital room. I just knew that I was back to my body. And it was horrible because I was feeling a lot of bad. I was feeling cold, paralyzed, terrified. I was feeling a lot of pain. I was feeling my feet froze. I was feeling a lot of pain in my head. And the most worst thing was something in my throat, looks like a rock or a wood. I don't know what exactly was, but it was it was making me feel like I was dying. And then I remember very, very clear that I thought, I am dying in a hospital, alone in a room in the hospital. I don't know how I knew that. And then I start praying. I start praying because I say, God, I'm dying alone in this hospital room. What's going on? Help me. And then I felt something very, very strong, powerful in my left side of the bed. In my left side, I felt something very powerful. And I remember that I thought, I think Lord sent me an angel to help me. That was my first memory, my first thing that I remember. And then I was trying to look what's going on in my left side because I was feeling light, powerful, something very strong and powerful. The only thing that kept in my mind most was powerful. And then I remember that I looked to a pair of eyes. But when I looked to that eyes, well, I wrote this in the hospital many, many times, and I put throw away because it was very difficult to explain what I saw in this moment. And I always tell to people that what I saw in their eyes, it looks like when I look to his eyes, I was going deep down in his eyes and him. I don't know how to explain this in a different way. Even Portuguese, that is my first language, Spanish that I speak, or English, sorry. It's difficult to explain this. But his eyes was like two flames. I don't know. It was like it was fire in his eyes. Two big flames of fire. And there was a lot of good thing in that deep down eyes when I fell deep down there. I don't know if I explain me well in English. Sorry, I'm trying. I remember that I saw a face, and I don't have many memories of the detail, but these two eyes, the fire eyes, I never forgot. And he spoke with me in my mind. And the three things he told me was surprising me in different way. The first thing that he told to my mind, he said something that I never could explain, or I never could wait that he will tell me these things because I was dying. I was waiting for someone to help me. And he told me, we are very happy with your missionary. He is doing a great job. And I was surprised because I knew that moment that he was telling me about my oldest son, who was in Guatemala serving a mission, a voluntary mission. He was working as a missionary. And then I knew that he was referring to my son. Well, the second thing he told me was most expressive for me. He told me, you have a husband that is a very faithful man. And because of this, he will see some miracle in his life. And then after that, he took my left hands. I felt his hands in my hand. And I remember that I thought, this is on an angel. I can feel his body. Who is this? And then the third thing he told me was, everything will be fine. He told me exactly this word 3 times. Everything will be fine. And while he was telling this to my mind, I felt something very powerful coming to him from me. It was like a cover or a blank. It was warm. I don't know, explain another way. It was something coming to me, but it was warm. It was involving me. I was embraced by this. And then at that moment, I didn't feel any pain, anything bad in my body, in my throat, in my head. The cold and froze feeling disappeared. And he told me this 3 times. Everything will be fine. And while he was telling this, and I felt that powerful thing coming from him to me, I don't know why or how, but I knew that I thought, this is his love for me. Now I understand everything. Now I understand why he died for us. So this is not an angel. This is Jesus, my Savior. This is Jesus. That's why I felt his love. And then I don't have any other memory about this experience. Well, after that, I wake up. And the doctor couldn't tell to my husband what's going on because they are waiting for me to die. And because of this, I was took in an emergency surgery again. And my husband say, why she has to go to another surgery? And the doctor say, we didn't close all the parts of her brain because we are waiting her for die. It was not possible for her to survive. And then I was back to another surgery, and they put something to dry the blood in my head, and they cover and close everything that they have to cover and close. Sorry, I don't know if I can make me understand. I don't have many words, especially about those situations. Uh, and then I stay in the hospital and recovering for almost 40 days. And then after that, I have to learn a lot of things again. How to walk again alone, how to feed myself, how to brush my feet, or everything like a child. But the doctor was amazed and they said, what are you doing is not possible. You were a miracle. And then all people come from my door in the hospital, knock my door and open. We were working in this hospital. We are coming to see the miracle because everybody is telling about you in this hospital. It was 2014. Well, I made some very good friends there. And I told to all of them what happened with me. And with my son's help, I created a channel with my name, and there's a lot of people, friends, family. They are there, telling what's going on, what they saw, what they witnessed, and everybody's telling that they couldn't believe that that woman dying was me, like I am right now, and all of them say that I am a miracle. And the doctors say, we don't have any explanation about your situation. We study your situation to see what's going on. Maybe Harvard could help us. But I always tell them, the answer is only one. It is Jesus. After that, it was difficult for me to still living because all the time while I was in the hospital, I was praying and crying, telling, how can I live now here while I was close to Jesus and I felt that love that brought me back, a love that we don't know in this earth. I am a mother and a grandma, and I know about love. But even a grandma or a mom do not love like the way Jesus loves us, because I felt that love. That felt brought me back. It cured me. So love is the most powerful thing that we can learn and live in this life. We don't know how to love this way. That's why the world is this way now. So this is my mission now. I have to tell to everybody what's going on with me. And I have to tell to people that they have to love more. They have to understand that the life is not only this: wake up, work, go to university, have kids, buy house, buy things, and die. There is much more. We are a spirit. We are in spirit, eternal spirit. Our body is the only one that will only die. Our body will die, but we are eternal. Because of Jesus, we can be eternal. We have a lot of things to learn, my friend. I wrote a book. It's selling in 3 languages in Amazon: Portuguese, English, and Spanish, because I want a lot of people know what's going on with me, what happened. They have to open their eyes. People are living only for this thing in the life. They are forgetting a lot of things very important. They are living only for things that we will live in this earth, will not take with us. The two memories wake up with me and I say, my gosh, why these memories with me? And do you know, even some people from my family, pay attention, they told me, you just was in coma. Those are not real. You just dream about everything. And then I asked them, how can you explain that I am here in a normal person, normal life, without anything, any symptoms bad? How can you explain this? They don't know how. But they don't believe that those memories was real for me. But do you know? Nobody can take this from me because I live it. It was it was real for me. I know.
How long did it take you to start telling this story, and when did you share it for the first time?
For first time I was in the hospital and I told to my husband, my lovely partner. We are married for 31 years now. It was 21 years at that time. We are very big friends since the beginning. And I call him and I say, I have to tell a lot of things that I remember. And you have to help me to write, because it was very difficult for me to write when I was in the hospital. So we try to type, we try to, because uh, I write in paper, but my hand was very shaking. It was very difficult to be strong. So, and then they say, I'll type. Why would you tell me? And then I told him, and he was typing in his cell phone. And he helped me to get this. And then after that, I read, I read everything, and I say, let's do again, because there is something else that yeah. And then we made this like 4 times different, because I say, you have to help me because I'm afraid that I can forget this. But well, at that moment in the hospital, he told me, baby, you have to write a book. You have to help people to know this is true. And I told him, no, I cannot do this, never. So after I leave the hospital, my son say, Mom, if you are not able to write a book, if you think you cannot write a book, let's create a channel. I will record you, and everybody that want to speak about this, everybody that live it with this, with you. And we start doing this. It was 1 year ago. And then some people tell me, why did you take so long to tell this to everybody? Everybody asked me this. Well, I can answer you. Well, when I leave the hospital, I start living again, and it was a totally different life. I saw life in a different way. I eat in a different way. I was much more aware about my body, the sounds, this the smell. Everything was different. It was different, very different from me. I don't know how to explain this, but it was like if I was living for first time everything again. Even the way that I deal with my kids, my relationship with my family, my husband, it is different. My mom, she always say, "Oh, that Vania died that day because this is another one. This is a totally different woman." And I always laugh when she say this. But what is what is different is that I was feeling different because I was in a new way. I don't know how to explain it, but I was feeling that I should keep this only for me. Because in my mind, I was thinking, well, I live something very sacred that God gave me as a gift, and I have to keep this for me because it's too sacred to tell to everybody. I told to my husband, best friend, kids, mom. Okay, but I cannot tell this to everybody. People will laugh me. People will not believe me. I was afraid about the reactions of people. Oh, they will say that I'm crazy. They will say that I want to be a show off or something. I don't know. I was afraid about this. And my husband was keeping telling me, you have to write a book. And my son, you have to create a channel. And I say, I cannot do that. I have to keep this with me. This is very sacred to give to everybody. The world doesn't deserve this. I was thinking this way. But one day, I was at the temple. I was always at the temple. And I was always praying almost the same thing. Jesus, I missed you. I was with you. I felt your love. Please help me to live in a way that I can be with you again because it's difficult to be far from you. I know what is to be close to you now, and it's so hard to live far from you. Help me to live in a way that I can be with you again. And then one day, in that moment when I was praying, I felt, I did not listen, I felt Jesus speaking with me. Well, you be again with me someday, my daughter. But I will ask you something. I will ask you, what did you do with the miracle that I gave to you in your life? Wow. When I felt that, I go out of the temple and I spoke with my son and I say, we have to start to record now. Well, write a book took a long time more because I was in business administration, my university course degree. I never wrote anything. And I say, how can I write a book? But then going back again at the temple, asking to Lord, well, you can help me to write a book. If you gave me something that I have to do, something to help people, you have to help me. And then took 3 years, but I wrote the book.
Your book is called Jesus and Me, My
Yes,
Oldest Friendship. How
yes.
come you named it that way? And why do you say that Jesus is your oldest friendship?
Okay, I'll tell this in the book, but I can tell to everybody too. Well, why I choose this title, Jesus and Me? Because the most important character in this book is Jesus. And the second one, is me because he made something with me that I have to tell to the world, because the world is too far from Jesus. And he is real, like you and me. And the subtitles, my oldest friendship, is because in the book, I tell to everybody from the beginning how I start meeting Jesus when I was 7 years old. The first experience in my life knowing Jesus. I started telling about this in my book. And then I tell about my teenagers, how it was difficult and how Jesus helped me, and how far I was from here for a moment in my teenager time, difficult time, and how I returned to him. And then I finish with the miracle. That's why I choose my oldest friendship, because he was always with me. He came with me when I was 7 years old, and now I am 56 years old. And I can tell you that he is my best friend. And the most better thing is that he want to be your best friend too. The people need to know this.
So, where can people get your book?
Well, in Amazon, many countries, well, Brazil is not there yet. We are in transactions. But the Amazon, international Amazon, you can find the book in three languages: Portuguese, English, or Spanish. And we are selling to many, many countries, even Australia. You can buy at Amazon. And I put a very, very cheap price because I don't want to gain money with this. I just want people know the story. If you buy the ebook, you pay like $2, something like this. If you want the cover page and the paper, it will be $14. So, because Amazon is, I have to pay $9 for Amazon. So, I have to put something more.
What would you tell someone who is afraid of dying, or maybe a loved one recently died?
If you have someone that you love that died, I can tell you that do not be afraid about these people. This person is much better than you think. Heavy thing that we have to use in this earth. Well, the body makes us very apart one for other. When we are spirit, we can be much closer. But this body makes us apart. So we have to learn that to live more close. So don't worry about this person, because dying is not the end of anything. Dying is the end of only this body, this physical, mature organism. I don't know how to say this. When you lost something, you don't lost, in fact. You are just separate for a time, because I can guarantee you that you will see these people again. These people that you had relationship, very important relationship here in this earth, mom, son, grandpa, grandma, brother, these people, you two are close spiritually. That's why you were born in a family. And after someone died, the die does not separate you two forever. You see this person again, I can guarantee for you. And this is because of Jesus. He make this happen because he loves us. He will not never put us in a relationship here, someone that we love a lot, and then the die separate us. He's not this way. The most important thing that make me feel in peace now, after these 10 years, is that everything that I'm living this on this earth is something that he knows that I have to live. We are put in situation that we have to live to develop what we need to develop. So don't compare your lives. This is bad. Don't compare lives. Just trust in Lord. And He will help you. You have just to be close of Him. Please.
This has been the A.J. Parr Spiritual Journalist Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe.